Hey, hello everyone. So this is Rushikesh Mehrwade here. I just want to quickly check out if you can hear me. Please put your messages over the chat and let me know if you are able to hear me. Awesome. I just want like a whole flow of messages to come in. Perfect. So I think without much delay, let's get started and let me share the screen. Great, everyone. So welcome on the topic related to the Claude Code, where we are saying you stop chatting and you start orchestrating these agents in your workflows, whether you are coming from any domain. Claude Code is trying to do a lot of transformation within the whole industry, not just software, but every industry is having an impact with respect to the Claude Code. Before we get started, I would like to understand about you all. So first thing, how many of you are software engineers here? Okay, good. I do see many of the hands here. And how many of you are from the business side? Operations, business, sales, marketing. Okay, good. I do see we have people from both the aspects. Awesome, awesome. So before we get started, let me introduce and give a quick background about myself. So my name is Rushikesh Mehrwade, and I have around 14 years of experience in the IT industry. Majority of this, like around last 10 years, has been in the space of machine learning, AI, predictive analytics, Gen AI, agentic AI. That's how the whole flow has been going. And fortunate to be in this space from a good time. So lastly, I mostly worked in the BFSI domain. And last role, I used to work as a vice president within one of a capital market company, which was a Motilal Oswal. I used to lead the teams in data science, AI. And last 1 year, I've been now working with companies, consulting them in AI adoption and also working on the AI upskilling, where we are helping people learn and get upskilled in this new age technology which is there. Even currently, I'm doing some video shoots and you will see some background green screens and all. But yeah, perfect. So without much ado, let's get started. Now again, let me confirm one more question. How many of you use Claude Code already? Awesome. I do see like immediate quick raise of hands and some chats on that. Okay, so we have a great audience of 200 people here, and I do see a quick reactions with the people. Awesome, awesome. And how many of you use Codex? I hope many of you must have heard of Codex. Okay, so some hands I do see also as a Codex. Good. And then lastly, how many of you have used GitHub Copilot? Awesome, awesome. So I guess people are there. Okay, so I think many are using GitHub Copilot. That's good to see. I think because of the enterprise versions and all, many of the systems that comes up with that integration. Great, great. So I think enough with that. Let's get started. So we are now talking about Cloud Code. That is one of our most popular agentic AI systems that you can install in your systems, in your laptop, computer. It can take full control of your machine and it can work as a complete personal assistant to you. For example, I do work in the space of consulting, product development, and education. For me, Claude Code I use regularly for content development. Second, I use it for building products. We are working with a lot of companies in developing AI embedded products. So use Codex Cloud Code heavily, where 2 to 3 sessions in the cloud are always running in parallel to achieve some of the tasks for me. And third, we also use it in education or consulting based aspects. Okay, so in consulting, we do build project ideations, all of it. So if you can see, Cloud Code is not just for coding, but on top of it, sorry, you can use it for your own personal productivity. Now, there are two different angles. One is you are trying to implement it some code-based projects with this. Second is you are trying to automate a lot of your work. So as a short-term founder right now, I have to manage like a lot of different things, and this tools helps a lot. Okay, I do personally work with Codex, Cloud Code, and also to some level OpenClaw. I think many of you must have heard about OpenClaw, which is again one more type of system, but that system is not just limited to your laptop. It could be installed in your mobile, and from the mobile, will be able to have a control over your system. So there are the stack of lot of different systems which are present in the market right now, which all together is helping you as a second brain. Okay, we call it as a second brain systems. So let me go ahead. Now the whole world is changing into this agentic era. Okay, last year was more of like people have told, okay, this year will be AI agents. 2025 was more of AI agents. But 2026 is more around the agentic AI. Okay, now with that, do you guys know what is agentic AI? Can someone tell me over the chat, like what is AI agents versus what is agentic AI? Some quick descriptions. Anti-gravity is also one of a good solution, which is there. It is still growing step by step. There's a lot of progress that Google is trying to do. Google is trying to like see everyone what they're doing and just pick up, okay, this is working good, this is working good. So let's try to build something on top of it. So Google is right now in that plane. Okay, the task done by AI without needing more human interaction. Okay, connecting agents can be independent and act to a problem. Awesome, awesome. I think you guys have all given a very good answers here, but let me simplify it. One, see, AI agents is a single agent, which is very specialized in one type of activity. Okay, so whenever you hear the term called as an AI agent, that's mostly one single agent that is very specialized. You can think of a report creation agent, or you can think of a banking agent. Even again, banking is a very broad term. I can only say that a fund transfer agent or a balance agent, or we can say a video generation agent, a content generation agent. These are all very specialized type of agents. When we talk about agentic AI is all about making all of them work together. Okay, so when I say content orchestration or a content flow, I may have an agent who's doing a web search, bringing in all the relevant information. Second, there's a one more agent who's expert in trying to transform this into a more structured representation. And there could be some more agents which are now channel specific. One will send the data to uh, LinkedIn, one may create a PPT out of it, one may create a small summary out of it. So when you're trying to orchestrate around multiple of these agents together, that creates a agentic AI. And this 2026 is all going toward people are moving from just using one single agent to now multiple agents. In 2025, there are very few cases where people were going with uh, multiple agents. Mostly we were still trying to understand, learn the single agents. But now Here, 2026, we were personally working with some companies in extracting data, where extracting the data from annual report, there is not single agent, but there are multiple agents who are parallelly trying to extract. The concept around the agentic remains same. Okay. Now, AI agents is a technical term. Okay, we'll not go much deep into that, but if I have to give a technical term, AI agent is LLM with tools. Okay, just to give you an example, see, before we understand the Claude Code, how it works, we have to understand what are these AI agents. Because this Claude Code and all these tools are nothing but AI agents, again, a smart AI agents internally. See, we as a humans have a brain that is so powerful. Okay, so powerful means the whole body is being orchestrated by the brain. Every movement that I'm doing, every word that I'm speaking, the way I'm looking, all of this information is going toward the brain, and brain is helping me decide the next set of actions. So this hand is doesn't have any of its own thinking, logic, nothing. Everything is going toward the brain, and brain is making all those decisions. So brain works as a controller, and all those organs are there for us to interact with the world. We can see, we can hear, we can move things, we can move ourselves. So all of these are elements which are added to the brain to make it function and interact with the external world. In the same way, LLM, you may have all heard about LLM, the ChatGPT kind of systems are our brains. These are very powerful. They can help you understand the whole world. They can help you learn, they can help you study, they can draft you email, that can create a LinkedIn profile, they can tell you what kind of images to create, they can do a lot of different things. But the systems cannot take action. They are limited to generation, but they cannot take action. Action means you ask it to generate an email, but not just generate, you ask it to actually send the email, okay, or read your emails. I'll show you some of those examples today. So AI agents is about moving from just a generation to actually taking some actions where technically it's all about LLM is a brain, and this brain is attached with some tools. These tools could be your mail engine, your GitHub, your SharePoint, your local folder structure, your Bash. All of this becomes a tool and organs to this brain, which this brain can orchestrate. And that's where the magic happens. Okay, so this is where the orchestration comes into picture, where we are saying there is a within the orchestration, all of these multiple systems are interacting with each other. So first, this Cloud Code based system, they purely triggered based on the CLIs. So from the CLI, when we are starting some run, it starts a new session. And that session internally will have a lot of different steps. Like when you give a task, I want to analyze some data. Now, just to give an example, I'll come to some of those, but we can give an Excel file, okay, which has a lot of data. And from that Excel file, we can ask a Cloud Code to help me summarize it. Even if you have 1,000 records or you have 1 lakh records, okay, this Cloud Code can help you understand, summarize that in a much more interactive way. Then internally, again, these are the steps which it tries to perform. So it tries to first break down whatever task you give, it first break it down into smaller tasks, and then through the LLM in the backend. Okay, so these are like APIs. All LLMs, the paid ones, are usually exposed through the API. Even you can run open source LLMs nowadays through Cloud Code, but those are slightly tricky because of the size, the computation, and a lot of other different challenges. Many people over the online, you will hear saying that, okay, I'm using open source with my Cloud Code, or I'm using open source for development. But the power that you have with the API based models is still the open source models are very far. The ones which are capable, they are very slow. Okay, very slow because they are not built for CPU based systems. They are built for GPU-based systems where the GPUs try to achieve things much more faster. Why and all, that's a different topic, but the systems, the API-based models, the paid ones, are very powerful. Currently, Claude or Anthropic comes up with some models. Do you guys know about the names of the models with the Claude? Anyone who can name the list of models with the Claude? Perfect, good. Sonnet, Opus, Sonnet, Haiku, very good. And I think, have you guys heard recently there is a discussion going on by perfect. I think Rohan has mentioned that. Good. Okay, so someone has put it a chat in snapshot. Very good. Good. So I think, yeah, recently there is a lot of talk going on around a new type of model called as mythos, where Anthropic is saying it is so powerful, it can just go through the codes, identify any security implications immediately. They are saying we will not release it because if someone gets access to it, they can easily find out what kind of security risks are there in any code, and then they can easily hack into systems. So that's where they are saying we will not release this model. How many of you heard of GPT-1? Has anyone heard of GPT-1? Okay, some of you may have heard of GPT-1. Very good. So see, similarly, a few years back when GPT came into the picture, GPT also had this perspective that, okay, we have got some model that we will not release to public because if we release it, it will have a catastrophic impact on the world. And they didn't release it. Okay, they didn't release it, but then from the media and all, there was a lot of criticism. Then they released the GPT-2, which you will see mostly like the open source did. After that, they came up with the GPT 3.5 from where everyone know about it. Okay, so let me now move ahead. Now, so this is how this agents, okay, any type of agent. It's not just the Claude Code, but any AI agent concept with respect to the AI agent is similar across. Okay, across it is all similar. There are certain elements. So first is the Claude Code, which is an agent. An agent is basically, as I said, an orchestrator between LLM and your tools. Tools are nothing but your organs, as I said, which the LLM tries to control. And Claude Code is more of an orchestrator. You try to attach it with the tools, things like a file system. File system is like a one type of tool. It's like you're giving a hand that you pick up any file you want. So rather than now just generating, it just says that, okay, there are 10 files, give me this file. I want to understand this. LLM in itself can't do this. All of that happens through this agentic structure. It's a loop. It's nothing but a loop between an LLM and tools, but we can attach it tools like file system, the bash, terminal to execute the command. And these are the two main tools that it usually has: read, write, and then a bash to run some commands. Just with these two tools, we can just do n number of operations. Okay, a lot of different operations we can do just with this two set of tools. Then we have a Git control also. Git can also work like a tool where you can attach it as a Git. See, mostly with terminal itself, it will be able to handle. My most of workflows goes like any new task I give, I always say that you run through it, then you also commit it, and then you release it. So in my cases, rather than I committing it every time, it does the commit for me with many new changes, and that's it. So with the terminal, we can also achieve that. Now, how do you set it up? Okay, to set up, let me, okay, just a second. What we can do is, I'll just show how to set it up. To do that, let me go on the browser, okay, and share the screen with you all. Okay, so if we talk about Claude install, now Claude install comes up with multiple steps. Claude is integrated with every cloud. So Claude has its own API. Okay, if you go to Cloud website, they give you API. AWS Bedrock allows you to access Claude. Google GCP allows you to access Claude. Azure allows you to access Claude. So Claude is present everywhere. You can just configure the Claude from any one provider, and then Claude Code gives you option to configure it. So first of all, if I say Claude Code, okay, so in this we have like multiple ways also through which you can integrate the Claude. One is like a terminal, which is you just have a command for Windows, Linux, and all of the systems. You have a different command to install. You can just pick up one. Winget is also one of a Windows command. You can run it, and you will be able to install the Claude. Okay, so this is the first step. Now Claude comes up with multiple two main products. One is a Claude desktop and one is a Claude Code. Initially, Claude Code started as a coding specific, and Claude desktop was more of non-coding. But nowadays, though those both are like merged together, do a similar activity. Claude desktop gives you more visual interface, whereas Claude Code is more of a terminal-based interface. Okay, so now in this, once you install this, okay, you have to log in. Now, login can be done again, as I said, in 2 to 3 ways. One, Claude gives you APIs. Now, in terms of payment, also, there are different ways in the payments. If you're using a Claude subscription, okay, if you're having a, let's say, Claude Pro, Claude Max, then through that also you can do Claude and slash login. You will be able to, it'll open the browser, it'll pick up your login and will initiate your session. Other approaches, if in your organization you already have like AWS, GCP, or Azure, you can also go through that. For example, the one that I use Claude Azure OpenAI. Okay, this is also called as a Microsoft Foundry, which recently, like 3 4 months back, it came into the picture. But similarly, if you'll see that it has a Amazon Bedrock integration, Google integration, Foundry integration. So all of these are like various ways that you can use. In my case, like we can go to Microsoft Foundry, we can pick up the model that we want to configure. Once we configure that, Azure will give you certain keys. So some of the keys are like navigate to the resource. We will have endpoints, keys, API keys, the name of the model, the API versions, all those multiple things will be available to us. Okay, so you said login, you specify that you want to only go with the Foundry. This environment variables you have to set. Just to show you, in my case, okay, I have multiple environments captured. Just if you go to the environment variables, okay, so these are like some environment variables which I've captured at a system level. Okay, the benefit of configuring this at a system level is you don't have to keep setting it in different sessions. It's now like you run it anytime, you'll have all those keys available. Okay, so I have Gemini key, Anthropic key, Azure key. So I go with like multiple models. So all of those are configured. So you need to set this keys in a right way. So once you do that, okay, all of this like which models you want to use. So these are all like configuration options. Once you configure everything, then you can go to CMD. And now let me create a folder, okay, with Vata. And here I can, once the installation is done, okay, after the installation, you will get this option to say Claude. Now Claude will come up with, as I said, two options. Once you install it here, you can also go with the VS Code. Okay, so let me just start a new VS Code. Okay, so in this new VS Code, I'll just pick up the same folder. Okay, let me just close this remote machine. Okay, so this is now a blank folder. Okay, within this blank folder, now see one more thing is within VS Code also we have option for Claude Code, which gives again more better control in terms of the sessions that you can create. So in my case, I have this Claude sessions. So in this folder currently there are no sessions, but we can say new session, and this will also open the Claude Code. So one is the CMD based version, which will look like this, and one is this version. Both are similar. There is no difference in terms of the usage. Both are similar. You can also use this when you're more integrated with the VS Code. You can go with this when you're more integrated with. Now, how I do is sometimes when I'm more working with some documents, okay, some docx, some presentations, or some reports that I have to create, I go with the terminal. There I don't use VS Code because then within those documents and all, I can easily summarize my data aspects and all. And even the courses that we do, we have a course on AI agents, multi-agents, evals, all those things where we help people understand it completely from the scratch. Okay, where we build RAG, prompt engineering, all. See, even those courses, the code, the content, all of it to a good level, I try to orchestrate from this, where the CMD works out in a better way. I'm just giving examples like where both of this can be used. After that, VS Code is more integrated in your code editor. So now let me initiate a new session, and one thing I'll do is help us create a quick calculator program using uh, Python. Okay, help us create a quick calculator program using Python. Now, this is a very simple prompt, but if you try to refine the prompt and make it much more better, this Cloud Code based system can works out very well. So some of the things that you should look for is you are an senior level Python developer with multi years of experience. Okay, and help us create a quick calculator program using Python, which is more modular. Also, testing and all we can do it. Those are like other things. But let us ask it this thing. Okay, so this gets started. There is a new entry that we have to create. Hey, hi guys. There was, I think, just a quick network disconnect. Can you guys hear me? Just a quick check. Perfect. Awesome, guys. Thanks a lot. And sorry for the mess up. So let me. So can you guys see the screen still? Are you guys able to see the screen? Perfect. Perfect. Thanks a lot, everyone. Great. So let me get back. So see, as a first step, it just went through. Now I told you about some tools. So this bold highlighted things that you see, okay, these are called as tools. Similarly, we can integrate lot more tools. Claude comes up with internally this bash write read as a tool. Bash it uses for running the commands. Write is uses to dump the files, and read it will use to read through the files. One of the best practices that you should follow would be there are some multiple options. Okay, edit, plan, and ask before edits. So how I generally do is you first, when you're starting with the new project, it's always good to go with the planning mode. Okay, where you're asking the LLM and the Claude to first plan through the steps. What's the architecture? What's the database? How all of those will relate? How will be the front end? How will be the back end? So you just plan all of it, and create some plan. And then you start developing that plan one by one. So once you create that plan, Claude will have a complete understanding at the start that, okay, this is a final goal. But now from this goal, we are trying to achieve this. But if you have some goal, now there are multiple variants that you will see for this. One is called as agents.md. Second, usually Claude uses Claude.md. Okay, agent.md is a general format which is used outside, and Claude.md is something that Claude uses specifically. This will be your initial set of prompts. Okay, this is when you define how your Claude should perform. This prompt is always loaded whenever you start a new session. Okay, whenever you start a new session, this always gets loaded first. So with this, the benefit is now I generally keep things like you are whatever domain. For example, I'm building a financial analysis system. So you are a financial analyst. This project works on financial documents review. Okay. Every time you make any changes, at the end, you test them very well by creating test cases. This becomes very important. Now, what happens is this Claude.md, whenever it runs, it will always first try to build the test cases after it runs. Second, you can always say that at the end, you create a new commit based on the changes. Okay. I also add one more thing usually, which is create a spec.md, which will manage all the changes suggested by user. With any new change, first log it into spec.md. This kind of things changes the whole agent's nature. Okay, what really happens is now your agent is not just going to build something for you, but will be on an enhanced level where every time it will try to build the test cases. So we can say not just build the test cases, but also validate. Okay, so now with this, what happens is it will always build some new things and will be able to validate the output and give you the results. Okay, so I'll just keep the copy in both of this. And what we'll do is we'll go back to this. Okay, so it says I've built a basic calculator. So let us just see what all things are built here. Calculator is this: history, record, add, subtract, multiply, divide, power, reset. Okay, I can ask it to do one more activity, that is to also create a function to get the sine and cos based results. Okay, so now these are like representative of the more scientific functions. Okay, so what will now happen if you'll see, okay, so I'll add a trigonometric function to the operations module. Okay, so it's drafting this. We just need to see if it is picking the Claude.md and agents.md. Otherwise, we will initiate a new session and try to make it work. Okay, as we have recently added this instructions. Okay, so it is not able to pick up those new instructions which we added. So what we will do, we'll start a new session. And then even before here, we just need to do init. Okay, init is a way by which it will understand the whole code and try to update this Claude.md. Okay, so I'm just seeing that Claude.md is present. So it is now reading. We'll try to describe the whole project and add the content within this. This becomes a very useful thing for your LLM to understand what is the project about. You can keep updating the Claude.md and it will always help the LLM to understand what all things are important. See, it is trying to bring all of this. I will now close this. What we'll do is this instruction from here. Let me add it at the end. See, it's already added these things here saying log all user requested changes to spec.md, create test cases to validate changes, commit changes after implementation. Perfect. So let me just remove this. We will save and start a new Claude session. Okay, so after we start a new Claude session, let me just say now, add what more function we can add? We can say add a new function that can take 3 arguments and add. Okay, so this is just an additional functionality. So see, it says I'll add a new functionality that takes 3 arguments and add them first. First, let me log this to change to spec and implement. See, so what now happened is any new change that you will define will not go unnoticed. Many times what happens is we keep adding, and we lose what all things we added when we added. You can make this kept spec.md your history where everything will be maintained. Even you can add it to ask it to add dates. So that what will happen is it will be able to store dates also, like when you created this thing, when you updated it, everything can become part of your Claude.md as the instructions. Okay. Now see, this thing is done. Let us see some more things. Now let me create a test file. See, now this time I didn't ask it anything. Now these instructions have become more rigid in our agent's description. So this becomes a context. We also call it a context engineering. And there is also a new thing called as a harness engineering that you may or may not have heard. So there is a thing of harness engineering where harness is all about trying to provide the relevant memory to all these agents as required. So this all plays as a very relevant memory. Okay, so it is now going ahead and trying to run the Python. Right now, I do not have the Python, so it is just trying to test, and then this isn't a Git repository. Let me initiate it. So if you see, it went into Python, but Python I have not set up, so it will say that I don't have it. But created a test files, but it will not run it. So this is a test operations.py. So this is a test file that is created. Ahead, it went to the Git. Okay, and it initiated the Git and then committed the Git by itself. It'll create auto commit names. Okay, that's a beauty. Where now everything time something you add as an instruction, it will be first loaded inside your spec.md. Then it will perform the operation. Then it will create a test cases and run it. Then it will also commit it. So this now becomes a lot more useful to you. Okay, rather than like you are more in control by putting these instructions to the system. So that's a fundamentals with respect to the Claude. Now let's go back to the PPT again. So this is how like I just showed you some of the fundamental concepts with respect to the Claude. But what is it giving? It's giving now standardizing the 2026 developer stack. See, first is we are talking there are multiple different tools which are there. So Claude Code, Codex, Gemini, Anti-Gravity, uh, just n number of tools are there in the market right now. There's a new powerful element that has come called as a skills.md. Skills.md refines a lot of things. Okay. Now, skills is more of a repeatable instructions. Now, something you have a more complex use case and that you're trying to do again and again. Now, for example, I have a skills for my database checks. I have a skills. Now, MCP and skill, they both are slightly interchangeable in nature. Okay, just a quick question. Can someone tell me what is MCP? Can someone tell me what is MCP? Perfect. Full form is very good, guys. It's a protocol. So it's a protocol through which we try to allow your LLM to access external tools. I told you that all of these systems are interacting with the tools. Okay, there is a LLM and tools are the organs. Okay, which this brain is trying to control. The file system, the bash, everything that we saw are basically set of tools. But now let's say you want to bring in some external tools. Let's say you want to bring in the GitHub tool. You want to bring in the Jira as a tool. You want to bring in your own organization's certain functionalities as a tool for a LLM to use. All of those you can expose through the MCP. Okay, MCP gives you that power through which you will be able to leverage those. I'll show you some MCP use cases and also show you some quick skills.md use cases. Okay, so skills.md, I'll show you with the codex, but both of them works in a very similar way. Some skills I've configured over codex and MCP we will see here. When just to again at a difference level, we will come for it in some time. The overall thing is you have to stop dumping lot of context into the system and trying to be more conscious in terms of how you are using it. See, people are using this tools in a lot more unconscious way, and a lot of tokens get burned. And even within that, even some good subscriptions gets burned down. Even with like a max version that Claude comes up with, people burn so much of tokens and people are not able to utilize it very well. So we have to understand the context that we are trying to put plays a very important role. How much context are we putting? How much are we trying to create a new session? How much we are trying to use the existing session? Can we summarize it in a right way? Can we summarize the whole understanding of the project in a right way so that LLM don't have to read through every single file? Sometimes to understand the flow, it has to go through every single file. But if you're able to create a right set of context within your system, like the spec.md. Now, in my case, spec.md will and the claude.md both will give a very good understanding of the project to the LLM. Okay, specs.md will showcase that, okay, see, these all things we have worked earlier. Now, if you tell it again to do something, it will say that no, there's something we have already done. We don't need to do this now. And Claude.md will tell you, okay, what all things in the structure, what's your architecture, what's your database structure, more of high level things you can put within that. Setting this kind of a system will help you use these things in a lot more productive way. Okay, see, for me, I just the things which we used to take like 6 months for us to work with some projects earlier, now those things have reduced to like almost a month of time. Okay, thanks. Some of the projects that I used to work like around 5 years back, those projects have again come back now. It's some other clients. The one that we worked on for 6 months, there, those have reduced to like a month of time now. Again, in a more professional way. Even month is like a larger time I'm saying, but in a more structured and formatted way, we are able to bring it to month. I'll not say hours. Okay, that's something a overstatement. Still, effort in terms of humans is required to make the systems work in a better way. Okay, so based on the time, let me just go through it. So, see, one is your engineering. You have to engineer the system like how you will use it, how you will try to feed all the important inputs and all. So now let me show you two different things: how we can add MCP and how we can add. Okay, so let's now go back again and I'll showcase two different things. First, as I said, we will look at MCP. Now, so to have a look at the MCP, see, MCP is nothing but external tools. Okay, those are all external tools. Now, let me show you one that we will use now. So let us use SQL MCP Claude. Okay, so one of our more popular one, GitHub. SkillUpRight MCP Claude. Okay, so some name I've missed it, but what we can do is we can go back here and let me show you. I already have it added. Let me just Claude MCP list. Okay, so it will just fetch out all the different MCPs which I've configured and also the health of it. How many of them are connected? How many of them are not connected? So these are some of the systems. So one thing I have file system one, pencil. Okay, so these are some of it, but let me just search for it again. Git, MCP, Git, Claude. Okay, so Claude. Inside the Claude, let us also have a look at the MCP. So right now, see there's a file system, and pencil. We can just pick up any one and then also run it over here. Okay, so these are like some commands through which we can add the MCP to our system. So for example, see in this case, there is one command here. So what we can do is this command can be transformed into a terminal based MCP command. So let me show you that. So how we can do that is MCP. Okay, I think it is, yeah. So here we have to say Claude MCP add name of the MCP. Okay, and then as a next step, we have to provide this command. So first here I'll say UVX, and then these are the arguments. UVX hyphen DB path. We can also configure this in a file. Okay, I'll say test db.db. So this says added stdio MCP server. Now there are varieties in terms of MCP. One is called as a streamable HTTP, one is called as a stdio. So now I can check the Claude MCP list. Now let's see if this new SQLite MCP is added or not. So let's wait and see. So it says SQLite connected. So now MCP is connected. Now what's the benefit? Now this MCP comes up with some additional set of tools. Okay, this comes up with an additional set of tools. Now when I say Claude, what all tools are available with SQLite MCP? Now this is going internally and we will be able to see, if you see here, these are the tools, the way we have a read, write, and bash command that I told you. Similarly, here we have this kind of tool like list table, describe table, create table, read query. So now just a quick check, help me create three tables. Okay, students, courses, and student course enrollments. And dump some dummy records of 5 to 10 into each. The same thing we can also do for reading. Okay, right now we are trying to write, but the smarter thing is this, see, it started creating the tables. It's asking for a permission. but it generated 3 tables into the database. Okay, and now it is going for the dumping of the data. It generated some data here. Okay, so it says fine, I've entered 7 students, 6 courses, and 10 enrollments. Now to show if this is really done or not, we'll close the session, come back to Claude again. Okay, and I'll ask it, use SkillUpRight MCP and get me records in students table. Okay, so we see that Alice, Bob, Carol, David, Emma, these are some records which are added. So if you see, it is doing a select star. So we got the list of students which were added. Not just this, you can ask it more complex question with some tens of joins and it will be able to answer those with the tens of joins. Okay, let me also show you just one more things that can happen with the skills. Okay, now skills are the most popular thing that I'm using right now. Skills are nothing but more repeatable set of prompts that you want to leverage. Okay, skills are more of your repeatable prompts. In my case, I have created skills, let's say, as my mentors. Okay, some best practices in coding development, best practices in user UI development. So if I ask it in the codex, help me list the skills. So I use codex for more coding, Claude for more creative based activities. So many of the things I do with the codex nowadays. So let's just see, it will give, so there are hundreds of, in the online, people have put up lot of different skills. So this like shows for the web app development, there is a front-end skill, React best practices skill, shard CN is one of our web components which comes up with a description, documentation, deep research, market research, coding standards, database. My database, my production database for our Vidvata product is integrated. I can ask it any questions. How many users visited? Those questions I can ask it. I can do testing. I can have my browser testing also done here itself. Okay, so I can even my mail is configured here. Help me list last 5 mails. Okay, so guys, like I'll answer the questions just in 2 minutes. We will see what the skills can do. Okay, I'll also show you how the skills are stored, and then I'll be open to answer the questions. Okay, so it says I'm checking the email workflow instruction first. Now these instructions are coming from the skills folder. Okay, you'll see that there is a .codex skills Zoho email. So I basically use Zoho. So there's a skills.md, which is nothing but a context that comes up with the instructions. Okay, so this instructions basically tells it how it should read the mails. Okay, so this one gone something wrong. File C. Okay, something is not right in this as a path. Okay, I think yes, the paths are in a reverse manner, but these are some instruction files which are present internally that it is using. And now I've got the mailbox workflow. Next, I'm checking whether the Zoho account is already configured. The mail script isn't in the root, so it's just doing some extra work here. There is a Zoho mail.py file which is there within the skills. Okay, it will use that and bring it. So I can just ask it this question and leave it, and even it can help me draft responses. I can ask it, okay, help me also responses for this emails. It will help me and can also send the emails. Okay, it can just send the emails on behalf of me quickly. That is one thing. I also use Codex, Claude and Codex both for dealing with all my cloud operations, deployments, resource management, everything I try to do through here. I've done Kubernetes, I didn't know much, but through Codex, I was able to deploy some quick Kubernetes applications. A lot of things this Codex and Claude Code gives you. Okay, guys, I think we have been on time, but this is what the Claude can do. There's so much thing that you can do with the systems which were very tricky earlier, but now with this, you can automate so many things. Now, all of this, just to give a quick update for people who are interested to learn all of these things, we also have like we do train on this whole pieces through our course in Vidvatta. People who are interested can surely go through it. So we have a course on AI engineering for BFS as I'm coming from BFSI. Most of the things around building the rack systems, agentic development, productionizing the systems over the cloud, coming up with the capstone, and also working on the right set of LLMs and prompting. Okay, that's our forte in terms of building these things from the scratch. The next batch is going to start in May 23. If anyone is interested, you can reach out to me over the LinkedIn or any other channel, but LinkedIn would be the best possible channel. Okay, so that's it for this session. I hope this was useful to all of you in how you can leverage Claude for your day-to-day work and achieve some good productivity. Okay, so I'm open for any questions which are there now. Yes, Shekhar, very, very true. So that's where I said that if you're keeping your instructions kept in a agent.md or claude.md to always update the outdated file first and then continue. In my case, I've created a system such that anytime I create a new request, it first updates everything. It just checks what kind of product details are there. Is this thing already present? If not, if there is a conflict, it will first try to update all of it and then only it will continue to update it. Okay, so it will first go through all the MD files. Those MD files should not be complex. Those should be maintained in a right hierarchy. Okay, if they are maintained in a right hierarchy, you will be able to achieve a right approach and strategy where this agent can work out in a perfect way. Okay, change logs are maintained. Just a minute. So you're saying change logs are maintained in Git. What different it makes to log in skip.md? So see in Git, even if it is there, your spec. So I created a spec.md actually. So that spec.md actually helps a lot in maintaining all your specs over the time. Okay, now specs is all your product descriptions. Yes, I'm completely fine. So those are all your product descriptions rather than the Git. Git mostly maintains what technical changes were done. Okay, the Git will be able to help you understand technical changes, whereas spec will be able to maintain all business specific aspects. Could you please provide the link to get billing estimate of Claude models to use in a Azure Foundry? So I think see pricing doesn't change. If you search over the Microsoft Foundry, Claude prices, it's a API prices at a token level. Okay, so you will have a token level pricing. So you can check for the token level pricing and you will be able to get a token, 1 million token, how much of a cost and all. You get to see that. Okay, for people who are interested, I'm also putting link to our course. Who would be interested, you can fill the form and We'll be happy to connect with you if you are interested and want to get into the path of learning all this interesting AI-based things which are just growing in a so fast way. Can we only build new applications or migrate old tech applications? See, old tech applications also migration is possible. It requires a structured approach. Okay, structured approach in terms of first your agent should be able to understand the whole code piece by piece. Okay, where we can create these MD files as a spec. Like your existing product first needs to be transformed into a specs and description step by step, folder by folder, module by module. You need to keep getting all the description. Once you have all those description extracted, you try to take it to the side, okay, and then now use this only to build your product. And again, try to create it in a new way from that old tech. This will help you migrate in a lot more faster way. Okay, rather than trying to transform the code, first try to transform the description of the code and then use that description to generate a new application. Does cursor pricing include Claude Code? Yes, cursor will give you an included price where within a single price you will have all of it. But still now, cursor is not very good in terms of agentic operations that much. As powerful as Claude and Codex, Cursor's agentic capabilities are still not that par, but it is still a very powerful tool. But still, I would not say to that par. See, with Cloud Code, you can either go with the pro version. Okay, they come up with this pro subscription. You start with that and see if you're able to leverage the token limits within that, and it is helping you. And then slowly you can think of upgrading. So we as a startup have some credits with the cloud. So we majorly use cloud-based systems to build things on top of it. So within our course, we also give $50 credits to everyone. So people who are interested once they enroll, we also give them $50 credits with Microsoft Foundry. So they can easily play with different models, different strategies, even integrated as a cloud code. So all those strategies are present. Okay. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks for being here. It was great talking to all of you. Just a last check I wanted to do. How was the session? Was it helpful to you all? Was I able to provide anything new that you already knew? Okay, good. Your feedback would be very highly uh, impactful on me. Yeah, if you have any feedbacks, please share that. Great, great. Good to know that, everyone. Have a great time, and thanks a lot to everyone for joining this session. Please take care. Thank you so much. Bye.